right, welcome back, everyone. This is the FloTrack podcast. I am Kevin. He is Gordon. As you can tell, my voice not at 100%. Gordon, a little sick. So you're going to be talking for 80 to 85% of this show. I'm just going to save my voice. I'm going to come in real hot. I might even do hand signals at a certain point. So take it away, Mr. Mac.
Does it hurt to talk?
It doesn't hurt, but I have this feeling in the back of my mind at any moment it's going to go out completely. And you don't want to have like a moment like in front of Mike where you just
mid-take.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's completely ruined. So instead, I'm just going to look at you the entire time as you talk.
So I have to run the show here.
Yeah, you are the showrunner today.
I'm the showrunner.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the only thing that happened this weekend was track and field.
That's the only sport.
It's the only sport that matters.
The first sport, some say.
First sport, only sport, and the sport that will never disappoint me. The sport
100%.
that will always be there for me, even when I am at the bottom of depression. Anyway, for those who don't know, my Sixers lost, and I'm very sad about it. And we're not going to talk about it.
No.
And I appreciate you for not bringing it up, even though I just brought it up. I got to get it out there because I know people know that I am unhealthily addicted to that sport. You know what? I think I had an epiphany, and I realized it's okay to let it go.
Oh.
And maybe there's more to this world than two people throwing a ball back and forth into a hoop.
Hold on. Can we? I know you don't want to talk about it. Can we talk about this part of it, though? This is it for you?
It might be it.
Okay, wow.
But here's the thing. It's it for now, but then like 5
You're
months
only
from
a day
now,
on.
5 months from now, it's going to be long enough where I'm going to convince myself to go through the torture again. But, you know, it did remind me, though, like when I watch track, there's zero like emotional turmoil. And I enjoy it.
It's just fun.
It's just fun to watch.
Wow, that was a good race.
When people you wanted to win lose, or people who lose you wanted to win, it doesn't
impact your mood.
Impact my mood. It's just like, that's cool. You know, you're really excited about the up and comers. You're excited about the dominance. You're excited about when someone who's dominating gets upset. Mm-hmm. Basketball, not the same. So I think I need to be more honed in on track than basketball.
Okay,
that's what I've learned.
That's a good takeaway. Will you allow me I want one reference throughout the show. Can I have one? Just because it actually is relevant to something that happened. When I did all my research, I was like, one thing. I'm not going to tell you when it's happening. I'm just only one.
You're going to dunk on me?
No. It's not going to be a dunk. It's just going to be a reference.
Okay.
It is relevant, though.
Okay.
And you're not going to know when it's coming, but it's going to come.
Am I going to feel it, though?
You're just going to be like, oh, come on, man. What?
You're preparing me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm asking for one.
All right, let's talk about track. This is the Track and Field podcast. Continental Tour, Nairobi, Saturday morning, 8 a.m. Went down, which is a unique time shift because typically evening on that side of the world is like a 12 o'clock start or 1 o'clock start, but because it's in Africa, the times I think that Africa and Europe are like in the same time zone, but they're not. They're like multiple hours off.
Well, also it was afternoon there. It wasn't like a night.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't the Thursday night like Diamond League. It was like a Saturday.
Oh, okay.
It was a matinee. I guess, yeah.
Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah. But yeah, Shacarri Richardson.
I mean, you can see the light. Look at the video.
That's true. And you make great points, Kevin. Great points.
Go ahead.
Shacarri Richardson running a 200. Mm-hmm. Last time she ran a 200, she kind of put up a nothing burger, losing to Kayla White. But this time we saw the 10.5 Sha'Carri, the Sha'Carri that's been running very well the past few years, except for, when she doesn't have a good race. But this is what we think Sha'Carri is going to be, I think, for the rest of the year. Pure dominance. Now, the margin of victory it's kind of a little bit of fool's gold because she wasn't going up against, the Jamaican 200-meter runners, Abby Steiners, the Gabby Thomases of this world. She's going up against, B- pros. But she pulled up like 50 meters before the end of that race. I don't know. She looked like she
Closer,
just like...
You talking about when she put the arms out?
Arms out. She also kind of it looked like she wanted to stop early.
Yeah.
That was the vibe I got. It looked like 50 meters. She's like, I don't want to do this anymore. I already won. I don't want to run this last 50 meters. So when she runs 22.0 with a very slow last 50 meters, she could have ran like 21.8, I think. 21.8. And if she's running 21.8, her PB is 22 flat, right? That's her PB? 22 flat?
Yeah.
Yeah. So... I'm going to call this a PB, even though it's not. I'm going to call it a converted PB.
Yeah.
Based off of...
Early celebration PB?
Early celebration PB.
Yeah.
And if she's running 21 capabilities in May, she's just coming off that a 10.5. She's coming off of beating Shericka Jackson. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce is now pulling out of back-to-back meets, so we know she's not 100%. Mm-hmm. We look at the world as like, Shelly-Ann is the only one really that has an argument to be better than Sha'Carri right now based on pedigree. But if Shelly's not 100%, there is a legitimate pathway for Sha'Carri to win gold.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In the 100.
Well, and even in the 2, she's looking pretty good.
I don't know. I want 2. Nah, gotta say 2 is insane.
With Jackson?
Yeah, Jackson, the U.S.
Yeah.
It'll be hard for Sha'Carri, I even think, to make the U.S. 200.
I'm just saying this was the best 200 she's ever run. And you could say altitude, you could say the competition, and all that other
she
stuff.
still only ran 22.07, where we had a college.
I'm just looking at the way she came off
run faster than that.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying the way she came off the curve, though, and everything.
But I'm saying 100 meters with a not surely 100% Shelly-Ann, who is, 36 now.
I'm not sure.
And, Sha'Carri now just entering her prime. I think she started the season as outside the top 10. Then she runs a couple good races where we put her in the top 10 and maybe move her up into the top 5. I think you could argue that she should be ranked number 1 right now.
In the 100?
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you say you need a minimum amount of races that were to mid-May and there needs to be a race to qualify to get into the rankings, yes. That being said, if Shelly-Ann goes out there and runs even
just
like
10.8, then you would drop her. But Shelly-Ann hasn't run 10.8.
She hasn't run yet.
She's been coming into meets and then having emergency airplane rides out of the country. She that report she got on a late night airplane to leave to go to a doctor.
Oh, I didn't know that.
In the middle of the night, she left Nairobi.
Oh, I didn't see that report. Hopefully she's okay.
Yeah. So,
see her run. Yeah.
I mean, I think you don't commit to 2 races 2 weeks apart.
Well, one of them was a family. The first one, Botswana, was a family issue. This was the injury.
Okay.
The second one was the injury. So
they could be coming.
We don't know, but everything. You look at the season in total with her and Shericka and Elaine and then Sha'Carri and Aaliyah Hobbs, and you look at the whole group, and right now, Richardson's put together the best set of races. This is 4 really good races for her now.
Yeah, to be honest, the only one who I think has put together a better set of races is Julian Alfred. And you look at her as kind of more of a hill decline because she's running a long collegiate season. So I feel like there's a little bit of advantage to the pros who aren't going to have to go to the well at conferences, indoors, and all that stuff. So I think Sha'Carri is. Also, in my mind, if I had one vote, my vote would be Sha'Carri.
Also, Toulouse ran 10.78 this weekend too. So put her in there. But if we don't have the low 10.6, 10.5 presence of either Thompson, Harrod, Jackson, or Fraser-Pryce, then it starts to get open. And then there's a couple people who could get the win. And right now, Richardson looks the best of the group, I think.
It was the most impressive race I saw from her. I mean, I keep on saying that when she ran the 10.5, but there's just something about it. It just seemed like she was at a new level, a new kind of mode. Well,
I think it's because she has the curve. It looks so smooth coming off the curve and then transitioning into the straightaway. I know we think of her more as a 100 runner, but that's why I said she's in the mix now for the 200 just because the ease with which she ran that race. Again, it's still May. It was at altitude. The field's going to be much harder. Yeah. That's going to impact how people run.
22.0 is going to look a lot different when you're going up against the top 8 in the world.
And you can do the conversions all you want and say, if she didn't celebrate, she'd do this and that. But everybody's guessing on those things. There is no calculator out there. Even you
I have
are
a
guessing.
Calculator.
Yeah.
That was a PB in my mind.
Yeah. All right, what else from Nairobi?
Another world lead out there. There's multiple world leads out there, but notably in the 100, Omanyala, who on his home track, going up against what I thought was a pretty good field. It had Kenny B and Marvin Bracey Williams in that field. There was a false start. The crowd was too loud, so they had to constantly redo the start. Mm-hmm. But Omanyala pulls away, runs 984 into a headwind, minus 0.5. It is altitude, so you got to give that as a factor. But into a headwind, world lead, 984 against, good competition. Marvin Bracey was in that race. Bracey, silver medalist, man. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Right? You got silver? Mm-hmm. Yeah, silver medalist. Or do you get bronze?
Bromell was bronze.
Bromell was bronze. Okay. But Bracey, 1003. Kenny B, great race. 998 for a second. Gotta love it. Kenny B coming in the clutch there. I love that. But Omanyala, man, We kept on talking about how the U.S. men on the 100 and 200, it's going to be really hard for a non-American to get a medal. But we're seeing non-Americans on the men's sprint side on both the 2 and the 1 continue to perform. And the barricade of, like, these are the top 3 is just... I think the walls are breaking. I think the dam is coming down. And I think Seville, I think Blake, Akeem Blake, not Johan. I think Omanyala. I think a few others. I would put money on there not being a U.S. sweep now. 2 months ago, I would have put money on there being a U.S. sweep. There's not going to be a U.S. sweep in 2023. I think with Omanyala running this well and the other international guys running well, there's not going to be a U.S. sweep.
I agree.
Really?
200, I think it's still in play. 100, not as optimistic.
Yes, 200 still in play, mainly because Kenny B. Not Noah Lyles or Aaron Knighton, who are running well.
Yeah, and then if Curley comes in as the 4th.
Yeah, so there's 4.
Yeah.
It's going to be, yeah.
That one's, because Omanyala doesn't do the 2.
Yeah.
Seville and Blake, haven't seen him at the same level as the 100. You could put Fonbele in there. Aaron Brown is solid. But the 100, yes, you're right. They're under serious pressure. I think I said it last week's show, maybe 2 weeks ago. I lost track of time. But I thought the same thing. It's just there's enough international threats. There's enough international 10-8s now, or capable of 10-8s.
9-8s.
9-8s, sorry. 10-8s would be too slow.
That would be slow.
You never know when there's going to be a sit and kick. I'm still waiting for the first ever sit and kick 100.
How hard is it to run 10-8?
Pretty hard. I couldn't do it. But my point is, there's enough depth in the rest of the world now to where they can match up with the U.S. just fine.
Yeah, I'm trying to bring up the current men's 100. Let's do win legal only. So you have Omanyala 984, Terrence Jones from the Bahamas, Texas Tech 991, Simbene 992 from South Africa, Seville, Jamaica 995, and then Noah Lyles of U.S. 995. So the top 4 guys right now are all not American. And then, like, Curley's not even there. I mean, we're just Curley and Coleman and Bromell, they're kind of just, we're waiting for them to show. What happens if we include non-win legal times, though? So we include non-win legal times. Then you get Charleston and Asinga. But, yeah, it's right now. Tobago, I forgot about that. He ran 991 when aided. It's the big 3 of Curley, Bromell, and Bracey. It's May 15th, and they have yet to really cement themselves. Now,
well, that's fine, though.
They got time. Curly's like...
They're the only group, though, that has to worry, well, other than Curley, has to worry about qualifying.
Yeah.
They're the only group that needs to worry about being absolutely 100% in the beginning of July. The rest of the people you mentioned, I mean, the Jamaican trials are going to be tough, but those guys have a big advantage. Omanyala's not worried about that. Simbine's not worried about that. Zarnell Hughes isn't worried about that.
Yeah.
Fonbele's not worried about that.
Tobago.
Yeah, they're not worried about just making the team. So they can run hard right now, cruise, and then get ready for Worlds. I think you're right, though. I think you're right. Last year, you could feel the sweep. You could just look at it's not hard to predict this stuff. You look at the numbers. You look at how many people are running these times, and from there, you can say, all right, all these things need to go right for someone to beat the U.S. top 3. This year, they have a lot more paths to get somebody in the top 3.
I mean, if Omanyala is running wind legal 984, wind aided 978.
It's not just that's the win. It's the win. And I know Bracey hasn't run much at all, really, this year. But
like the first race.
Yeah, but it's still a win. It's still a quality win because Marvin Bracey's a really good runner. And
like,
Kenny B's a good runner.
I think it's going to take 9. I could see it takes 9.7 to podium, and I don't think US has 3.97 guys right now. So we'll have to wait and see.
Well, and even if they do have 3.97 guys, the margin is close enough where if something weird happens at Budapest, someone picks up an injury, there's a false start, or there's just one, the margin is tiny. Whereas in Eugene, we kept talking about the super sweep. We said it was more plausible for a 1 through 4 than someone breaking up the top 3. Now, 1 through 4 didn't ultimately happen, but the 1 through 3 was pretty clear.
Yeah.
In Eugene.
Gotta love Omanyala too on his home track. the fans, like, they were so loud that they literally had to. He had to like tell the crowd to shush.
Yeah.
He's like, guys, stop. It's a track meet.
And he delivered too. That's what's cool. All the pressure, everybody coming to see you in that event, and to be able to do it last event of the day, that takes something else to do it, and he did it.
It is funny though when they're being too loud for the start, and the stadium announcer has to tell them to shut up.
Yeah.
And they still don't do it.
Yeah.
And then they all do eventually shut up, but there's still like one or two guys who just scream. What is going through their mind? We're like, yo, watch this. Do you think they're trying to impress like the girl next to him? He's like, watch this. I'm gonna scream. Oh, like
Maybe.
doesn't even happen much in golf. Like golf, they get it. In golf, they know don't talk until they swing.
Well, there's always one guy though who yells something. There's some funny saying, and
Yeah.
then when the ball gets, but they usually say it. Don't they say it when the ball's
say
in
it
the air?
after.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. They're like,
Because if you do,
root beer float.
because the thing is, if you do scream at a golf, and they kick you out.
Yeah.
They
That's
can't-
the thing. Nobody's kicking anybody out here.
Yeah.
They let people
They let
in
them in for free, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the shame too in track. You always see the backstretch stands, so they don't look that packed, and you never see the home stretch. And then when they flip the camera around for just a beauty shot or a perspective shot, you're like, oh, okay, this place
Yeah.
is packed.
Yeah. So, all right.
Are you enjoying hosting, by the way?
I am. Yes.
I'm managing my effort right now.
You're doing a great job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just don't. 143-32. Wenyoni. Is this a moment?
He did
Is
this
an
last year,
eight-
though.
He did.
He's really good.
I know, but like 143, it's fun, man. Like, and there was two guys there together,
It was a good race.
and it was a nice little kick there at the end. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I know we said the 800's dead.
Men's 800.
Men's 800's dead. Women's 800 will never be dead. But
I guess last year he ran 140. He ran 144 low in Ostrava.
yeah, and this is
And
140.
he ran 145.
This is 143 low. This is,
You're right. This might
he's
be
setting
different.
himself up to run 142 later in a month or two.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I think I'm ready to believe again. I think if Wenyoni can become the new career, they both have the same first name, Emmanuel, both from Kenya.
He's 18.
He's 18 years old.
Yeah.
He still has a lot of rawness to his game. And I don't know. As much as I have been disappointed and the 800 disappointing me, I think I'm ready to believe. I think I'm ready.
You're disappointed
go
in it
all in.
disappointing you.
I'm ready to go all in.
Yeah, he's a huge talent, and I think I ended up picking him at Worlds, even though it was really hard to pick somebody because they all were pretty close. But last year he was putting together a season where it looked like, all right, this guy's going to establish himself as the guy because he was winning and winning and winning. But then he got fourth, just missed the medals. But you look at the kick too. The close was
It's a great close.
solid. So maybe this is where it turns.
Like, because you look at this home stretch here, he was still like, what, 5 meters back?
Yeah.
With 80 to go? And he was still 3 meters back with 50 to go? I don't know. He looked good. Look at a nice stride there in the end.
Well, he timed it right.
Yeah.
He's 18. You said he still needs more experience, and obviously he'll benefit from it. But that was a veteran move.
Yeah.
In the last 150.
And he beat a really good runner.
Yeah.
And,
No, it was a good field and altitude, whatever, all that
altitude,
stuff.
that's 800. Altitude doesn't affect 800.
Okay.
Isn't that the
I think
perfect?
it's a crossover point, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to give him another compliment. 800 needs.
Oh, I
it.
thought you were trying to criticize it. I thought you were trying to say,
No,
oh,
I'm saying isn't it a little bit?
harder.
I think it's a little bit.
I don't think so.
Get the NCAA.
I think it's equal.
Someone in the chat.
I think it's a perfect equilibrium of altitude. Is the 800.
There's no one.
So, like,
Someone
if
in
you
the
ever have
chat-
altitude sickness and you can't handle it, just run an 800 and you'll feel normal.
It'll balance it
Just
out.
go out and run like a sub 2 800 and you'll feel great. That's what I do whenever I'm in altitude sickness. I go out and run a sub 2 800.
I don't think that's how it works.
Now, the race that I predicted when we were talking about, this event, different races, and I was trying to pinpoint races that might become notable. I told you we might see a world record. And I pinpointed this race before the meet started. I remember telling you. You might not remember, but I do. I was like, we might see a world record. I was like, what? I was like, yeah, in the steeple. It's like, Gordon, there's not going to be a world record. There was the altitude converted world record. Not technically altitude converted, but just the fastest steeple ever run at altitude. I think by 2 seconds. I think the previous record was 8:11, and he ran 8:08. Did he run 8:08 or did he run 8:18?
He ran 18. So
Wait a minute.
No,
Hold on. He ran 8:08. No. Do we need to update the... Wait a minute. Did I screw that up? I thought he ran 8:08.
Let me look at the result. No, he ran 8:18, dude.
He ran 8:08. No, don't
Oh my god.
don't do this to me. Okay, so it was not a world record? Wait. Hold on. This can't... Okay, Nairobi. Okay, yeah, I screwed that one up. So I thought he ran 8:08. I didn't see the 1 in the 18. So the fastest time at altitude was 8:11. And I thought he ran 8:08.
You gonna edit the title?
We got to edit the title. This isn't good. I'm going to go on YouTube right now. So he did not break the world record. He actually ran slower than the world record by 7 seconds. But 7 seconds off the world record, it's not bad.
Yeah.
I should go. I'm gonna fix that right now.
Sorry, I can't get over this.
I was so
The best
confident
part
he
of
ran
it,
8:08.
you teed this whole thing up. You did this whole big long prologue to it about how you called it, you predicted it,
I was so. Oh,
and not
God
only were
dang
you
it.
out, you were out by like 10 seconds.
Okay.
It's impressive.
It's going okay. All right, so we can go in here. Well, luckily,
David says NCAA gives altitude conversions for 800. Gordon, we love you anyways.
Okay. So the
The
time
NCAA definitely gives altitude for the steeplechase. Not really to help Gordon out.
Amos Kerr breaks. Okay, the title I have Amos Karui breaks the altitude world record. So I just need to change that to Amos Kerr breaks Gordon's version of the what does it say? It's Amos Kerr runs. I'm just gonna change. Runs 8:18 at altitude. Runs 8.
So you knew it was 8:08.
Altitude.
You had that off the top of your
I
head.
thought it was 8:08.
Oh, you thought it was 8:10, and then he ran 8:08.
I thought the record was 8:11, which is what it was, and I thought he ran 8:08, so I thought he broke it by 3 seconds. I didn't realize he ran 8:18.
Remember when you were just saying how track was your favorite sport?
Yeah.
It still is, right?
Yeah.
Who ran here? Did we just searching by Nairobi? Is that what it
Yeah.
was?
And then 8:11.
Oh yeah, Bremen Kipruchu.
Yeah.
2012.
So I screwed that one up. Let's see if the comments are going to say anything. Should I check the comments on
No,
that
don't
YouTube
check
channel?
the comments. Check the chat.
Is anyone in the comment? Oh, was it a record? I couldn't tell. There was. Oh, people were upset there was no time on the clock. Hey, well, we didn't produce
That
it.
wasn't Gordon's fault.
That wasn't my fault.
There's a lot of things that are his fault with this,
That one was not it.
namely the headline.
Okay.
Sorry, that was an all-time moment for me in the history of the show.
God dang it. I was so confident he broke a world record. He broke a world record in my heart. That's all that matters. All right, next. All right, so Nairobi happened, but let's just be honest. As much as we wanted to say that, the pro circuit is what everyone's following and what should matter, the real event that was, in my opinion, the Diamond League. We had a Diamond League happen this weekend. The SEC Diamond League went down because it was probably, when you compared this SEC meet to all the 14 other Diamond Leagues, you would put this in the top half of Diamond Leagues, in my opinion. Because what happened was unreal.
Yeah.
And I know it happens almost every year, but I feel like this year was better than most years. Starting with Britton Wilson. Britton Wilson runs 49.13. She broke the collegiate record in the prelim, and then she runs even faster, running 49.13. She now owns the 4 fastest 400-meter marks in collegiate history. 49.13 is number 4 in U.S. history.
Mm-hmm.
She's 22 years old. Number 4 in U.S. history. She's in college, runs for Arkansas. 49.13. Did she still run the 400 hurdles? Mm-hmm. She won that. Mm-hmm. Didn't even have to run that fast. They didn't put her in the 4x4 because they're like,
Let's say
you've done enough. We don't need you to run some 4x4s right now. But 49.13, I don't know. Now there's getting the point where she needs to potentially say goodbye to the hurdles. I think she's coming to a point where don't try the hurdles no more. Like, you're a quarter miler.
Mm-hmm.
You're the 4th fastest woman ever in the U.S.
in the U.S.
You need to just say no to the hurdles. I mean, what do you think?
I don't think she needs to make that decision yet. And we've talked a lot on the show about what is she going to do in the short term? What is she going to do in the long term? I think one thing's very clear for this weekend. She's going to win a gold medal in something by the time this is all over, individually.
This year?
No, by the time like her career.
Oh.
I think all time she's going to go down as one of the all-time greats, I think. I don't know what event it's going to be in, but I just think you mentioned the stats, the 4 fastest times in collegiate history. Think about how many great runners have gone through the NCAA system, and she's got 4 of them now. Think about the versatility between the quarter, the 400 hurdles, and the 800. And that's when I knew she was playing chess this year and her coaches were playing chess this year, when she spent all indoor running some 800s. And then they dropped her in for NCAAs to just break the collegiate record indoors. I just think she's got an amazing future. She's been making these steps progressively. Now she's had the opportunity to run the open quarter. Yeah, she's going to go down as an all-time great in track and field history when her career is over. But I don't know what event it's going to be in. I don't know what shape it's going to take. I think that's part of the fun. But I've seen enough to be completely convinced of just the ability and the versatility of Britton Wilson.
We'll find out what event she decides to run at NCAAs. The entries have to be declared, I think, tonight/tomorrow. So we'll know on next week's pod what event she's doing.
Yeah.
But if you were her coach, you can't really do a 400 hurdle double at NCAAs because they're like back-to-back events. Do you have her go to the 400 hurdles, or do you stick with the 400? What would you have?
I'd go to the 400 hurdles, try to get the NCAA record because she's already got it in the quarter.
And it's a good one, Sydney's record.
Yeah, 52.75. And then you could go back to the quarter for USA's. I'm thinking about a Thing Mo's pattern when she was at Texas A&M.
400 and then
4 and 8, and I think that helped keep her fresh later on in that year, and we saw the end result of that. So that's I'm thinking that you would do, but
wait. So you're saying she would be more fresh for the 400 if she runs the 400 hurdles?
Yeah.
At prelims and NCAAs?
Yeah, mentally fresh. You're just doing different things. You're checking off different
boxes. It's harder
boxes.
to run the 400 hurdles than to run the 400.
Yeah.
The way it's harder to run an 800 than a 400. That's why a Thing did the 400.
I think at that level, when you're going full out, yes, one might be a little bit harder than the other, but they're both hard. I'm thinking about mental sharpness, especially when you think about a season that's going to August. So just do one, work on one.
The thing is, though, this is a factor. If she's going back and forth between the 400 hurdles and 400, there may be a situation where she forgets what event she's in. And she might approach a 400 hurdle like a 400 or approach a 400 like a 400 hurdle and kind of screw herself up.
I don't think she's had that issue yet.
But there could be a thing. Like, wait, am I running a 400 or a 400 hurdle today?
So she had there was like a lightning delay in this meet. It bumped it up 30 minutes extra, but this was the 1 year anniversary of when she did the crazy double last year. Triple. But I mean the individual events where the turnaround time was crazy short and she still ran fast in both. So no, she haven't had any issues managing that. But because it's an impossibility, more or less, you're saying, with the schedule, I would say, 4 hurdles here and then open quarter at USA's. But
open quarter at USA's.
She can't go wrong. I mean, if she does the opposite, then...
I mean, who's the second fastest U.S. woman in the 400 right now? It's probably the college kids. Right?
Nobody's...
Right?
Nobody's run close to...
So she could kind of just do whatever she wants. She kind of just be like...
Well, but it just depends on what Sydney does.
The current 400 in the U.S. is...
Oh, wow. It's going to surprise you.
Oh, it's Gabby Thomas.
Yeah. 49.68.
She did, yeah.
I don't think Gabby's into the quarter, though.
No.
So that just helps
so
Wilson
then
even more.
Talitha Diggs indoors, but let's take away indoor marks. It's Mackenzie Dunmore.
50.35.
50.35.
Yeah. It just... Wilson's going to...
49.13.
Wilson's going to be on the team in either event. It doesn't matter. It's going to be what's going to be the better event for her to get a medal at in Budapest. And I think it's pretty clear the quarter, unless Sydney and Femke run the quarter and don't do the 4 hurdles, or maybe they double.
We need to have like a global council meeting.
Yeah, we will.
Where we get a Thing, Sydney, Britton, and Femke.
And you just decide who does what.
And we just get them a little council. You and I will we will chair it. I'll be president. You'll be vice president. Who can be our secretary and treasury? Secretary can be... We need a celebrity secretary and a celebrity treasurer.
Carl Lewis?
Carl Lewis, he's our secretary.
And
then our treasurer...
I don't know. Is he a track person?
Yeah. Or it could be anyone else.
So we're talking 400 hurdles? Maybe like Allison Felix, maybe?
Yeah, Allison Felix, yeah.
Or Sonia Richards-Ross.
And then we get Allison Felix. Mm-hmm. And then we get Sonia Richards-Ross. Mm. And then we get Carson Warhol.
Oh, for the 400 hurdle part of it. I got you.
And then we say, hey, we need to write the script for the 2023 Budapest. We have our casting. We're casting directors. we have Sydney, we have all these actresses, Sydney, A Thing, Femke, and Britain.
Yeah.
And we kind of got to put together the perfect plot.
Mm-hmm.
And so, because that's what it's about. People don't know this, but Worlds is scripted, right? Just like the NBA, as we saw this past weekend.
NFL, it's all script.
But, what do you think would be the perfect, if you could script it, how would you want Sydney, A Thing, Britain, and Femke to run at Worlds? If you could script it.
They'd double. All of them would double.
All of them would double.
Yeah. But if you're saying that's not possible, then...
Say no doubles are possible.
Yeah, then you'd want them all in one event. But that wouldn't make any sense because once two go one way, the other one's going to go the other way.
No, we're not talking about. You get to decide. You're the casting director.
Yeah, no.
So they all run the 400?
Yeah. I would rather see, at this point, I think everybody would rather, if Sydney was going to pick one, they want to see her in the quarter.
Yeah. I want everyone to race Sydney in the quarter.
And then everybody, you'd rather have one all-time
We
race.
don't need to see another, just a little bit faster 51 second. How
51?
50
51. What are you talking about 51, man?
We don't need to see another world record in the 400 hurdles. Like, that's done.
Yeah.
We should just retire the 400 hurdle event and put them all in the 400 and go out and run 47 low. That's
done and done.
I want to see a 46.99.
Do we even need to get the council together, or can we just make the ruling right now?
Do you know what I want? Actually, I want to see all those women run the 400 in lanes 2, 4, 6, and 8.
Yeah.
And then I want the men to run the 400 hurdles in lanes 1, 3, 5.
Okay, well, now you're just being stupid.
And 7.
Right, this is a good
and
question
then we have a true, because, I think the women, they go crazy, they run 46 seconds. The men go crazy, they run 46 seconds. And we have a little...
They're not going to run... Okay.
I know the women aren't going to run 46, but I think hold on. I think if you got these 4 women
keep it moving. We got a
and
lot.
you told them life or death scenario, I think 2 of them would run 46.99.
No. Okay, keep going.
You don't think that?
SECs, no.
I do. SECs. Okay, that's topic 1. Britton Wilson. Topic 2.
Yeah.
LSU, man, they broke the collegiate record.
Yeah.
37.90. They beat Florida's old collegiate record, which was from 2019, which they did in Texas. But they beat Florida en route to doing this because Florida runs 37.93. LSU runs 37.90. So they both break the collegiate record. LSU, man, putting together, and they don't really have any superstar names on their relay. Like, you look at the individual 100-meter PBs of their guys, they're all 10-0. Mm-hmm. They don't have many sub-10 guys. It just shows that if you put together 4 10-0 guys with perfect handoff, you can do something special. And they did it here. LSU breaking the collegiate record over Florida. You got to think they're probably going to run even faster at Texas when the heat and perfect conditions. I'm excited to see what LSU does.
Yeah, I mean, they called it.
They did? Did they do that in my interview? Did they say they would break the collegiate record in my interview?
They said they wanted to, I think. You don't remember
I forgot. I've interviewed so many people. They've all told me they're going to break a record. And I think the hit rate is probably 5%, but I guess they're part of the 5%
I mean, I get double
tells
check,
me they're going to break a record and then goes on and do it.
But you got to give credit to the ones who do, though, right?
Yeah, LSU. Credit to the ones who do it. Did they say they would do it?
LSU predicts they will. No, you didn't say it. They said it. LSU predicts they will break the NCAA 4x1 record this year.
They were right.
Yeah. Credit to them. Called their shot.
Called the shot. And doing it against
I don't know
Florida.
I don't know if it's going to keep getting faster, though, to your point about these SEC times are just crazy.
No, I think.
And all the tracks are fast now. And
I don't know. I think in Texas, man, it's going to be heat. I think they're going to run fast. I think they run 37.85. Why not?
Yeah.
Speaking of collegiate records, Jaden Hibbert, a guy who none of us knew going into the season, but has just kind of gone insane for Arkansas. 1787 meters in the triple jump, U20 world record, right?
He's 18, yeah.
He's 18 years old. That's not the right photo. That's the 4x4. Let's get the World Athletics one of Jaden Hibbert. There we go. 1787. U20 record. Collegiate record, obviously. He's getting closer to the 18-meter mark, which is one of those barriers that every horizontal jumper aims for. 18 meters. He's only 13 centimeters away from it. Only 18 years old. The guy's going to be an 18-meter triple jumper, if not the end of this year, by next year or later on. Could this guy be the man to break the world record?
Yes. Here's my second bold prediction of the show.
Okay.
I think he's going to do it.
This year?
I think this is no. You keep saying this year with all these people.
Well,
no,
you could say.
I don't think he's going to get 30.
What do you say?
It's
he's
an
going
old record
to do
from.
it.
He's a record from 1995, so it's still a big deal. There's been a lot of people who have taken a shot
But if
at Jonathan
you say he's going
Edwards.
to do it,
He's not going to break it at 18.
We're going to have a podcast like 12 years from now. Be like, remember the thing I said on May 15th, 2023?
People will remember this. I'll call you up, even if it's not 10 years from now.
We're going to be like an old.
He'll break it in the next.
Home.
No, he'll break it in the next 4 or 5 years. Is what I'm saying.
But
that's you just said you didn't know who he was at the beginning of the year. So the fact that he's going to break a historic record in track and field is a big deal. 1995.
Did you know who he was before this year?
Jonathan Edwards. He jumped 18:29. Hibbert? No, he wasn't on my radar. But I mean,
I know you did well at U20s.
Yeah, I mean, I should have been dialed into him, right? Like we should have seen this coming. We didn't. I saw an interview with Mike Conley, former Arkansas great as well too, and he just said Hibbert's technique is so far beyond what Conley's was at that age. It's not even worth comparing on the technique side. So I think he's just getting going, just scratching the surface. I saw an interview with him. He said one of the keys was that he trusts the process when he gets like up there. So I thought that was a good sign for him, taking it day by day, working through this stuff. So Jaden Hibbert, man, guy's incredible.
And he hasn't jumped much this year. He's only jumped 6 times. He jumped 3 times indoors, and he's only jumped 3 times outdoors.
Yeah.
So he's not overbearing his body. He's undefeated, 6-6. He jumped at the Carifta Games.
Yeah.
He went down to the Carifta Games in early April, then jumped at his home meet at LSU. So he's jumped over 17 meters now. Like, he's probably done it multiple times within a series, but of the 6 competitions he's entered, he's had a over 17-meter jump in 4 of them. But he's won all of them. The guy's going to be hard to beat. What was his series like? Oh, he only jumped twice.
Yeah.
He jumped 17:02 into a headwind, then 17:87, and then he passed the remaining 4. So if he's jumping 17:87 in that second jump, you think about put him in like a world championship environment, the guy's going to be, I think he's going to be in the 18s this year.
He didn't have a legal jump over 17 meters until the U20 finals when he went 17:27. So he's improved a lot in the last year.
He only jumped once at LSU. Wait, how many times has this guy jumped?
You're looking at his total jump count?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, he jumped 6 times at the Carifta Games.
Yeah.
But yeah, he only jumped once at NCAA indoors. 17:54 and then 5 passes. The guy's not even jumping, man.
I love it.
Holy crap. All right, so wait. First competition, he jumps twice. Keep cut, so it's 2 times. All right. Then the next SECs, he jumps 3 times. So that's 5. Then at NCAAs, he jumps once and wins.
6.
And then at Carifta, he jumps 6 times. They're all into headwind.
So we're at 12.
12. LSU invite, he jumps once.
13.
And then SECs, he jumps twice. So 15.
15.
So out of 6 competitions, he's only jumped 15 times.
He's keeping the jump count low.
Keeping it comes, yep.
Yeah.
Saving it. He's going to probably jump once at prelims. Guy's going to only do...
Just like,
he's going to do
smart.
Like,
it's smart. Why jump more than you have
He sees the cross-country runners be like, oh, we don't run a lot of races. We rest Nuttycombe. Yeah. He's like pulling... He's taking the Mike Smith strategy. No, he's taking the Jerry Schumacher strategy of not over-racing. He's not over-jumping.
Yeah.
What do you think he does when he's passing? He's just like...
He doesn't need to do anything
like,
else. That's great.
Do you think there's a point where he's like...
It's smart, though.
Is it this easy?
Don't put any strain on your body. Triple jumping is really hard on your body, so don't put any more.
It's wild. Now I look at it, the passes are probably because of the weather conditions.
It's part of it, but also part of it.
It's like, why bother jumping on slick runways?
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
That's what I'm saying.
Because a lot of people passed.
Right. People are mad we didn't know.
Well, we know who he is now.
Before.
Whatever.
Yeah. I mean, there's a million athletes who are on the cusp of breaking out, and a lot of people win U20s, and then that's it. So, I mean, you could say you knew his name, but you'd be lying if you're like, this guy's going to be knocking on the door of 18 meters in 1 year.
Yeah.
Come on.
No.
Come on.
Come on.
Or you get mad at us for not knowing him. That's one way to live your life. Or you could just be like, hey, cool. Talking about triple jump.
I know he is now.
All right, what Aiden Owens? Was that next? No, Florida.
No, Florida. So talk about collegiate records. So we had Britton Wilson, LSU 4x1, Hibbert, in the triple jump, but also the Florida 4x4. Mm-hmm. They broke the record with, you kind of look at the names. They're not really like marquee 43-second guys because you look at the teams. They've had people come through that program. Obviously, Grant Holloway. You had I can't believe I forgot his name. He made the team last year in the 400.
Champion
Allison.
Oh, you don't know who Champion Allison is?
I know who he is. I just forgot his name.
Can't believe that.
But they break a record with kind of just a bunch of like solid 44-second guys. Ryan Willie, who won SECs, he runs 44.27, beats Elijah Godwin, who ran 44.55, which is probably the upset of the weekend. Who had Ryan Willie beating Elijah Godwin? I did not. Godwin ran incredible indoors.
Oh, you didn't know who Ryan Willie was?
I know who he was. I didn't think he would be Elijah Godwin. Anyway, but they go on the Florida 4x4, which I always thought they had the ability to put together because they got some transfers that all come together to Florida to run. Well, they run 257.76. Alabama also runs an incredible fast time, runs 258 flat. Alabama does it with a bunch of no names as well. So two teams with a bunch of no-name individual 400-meter stars.
No. Hold on. Alabama had Oregon in there.
Yeah, but
he's a
no-name when it comes to the 400.
Quarter, yeah, okay.
If Caleb Ray, whatever. But, like, they're not having, like, a Fred Curley on the anchor or a Michael Norman for USC. Like, a lot of these other big 4x4 performances had, like, a star, gold medal, NCAA type guy. They're not doing it here. Now, Ryan Willie might become that because he just beat Godwin, and he's probably the favorite now to win NCAA outdoors in the 400.
Yeah.
But I thought it was very impressive. Florida just 400U right there. Texas A&M used to be 400U. I think we got to give it to Florida now. Florida's taking the mantle, 400U.
They're always in the mix. It's just every year you feel like they're getting it or almost getting it or, yeah.
Also, Aaliyah Armstrong, 12:31 into a 2.2 tailwind, well, with a 2.2 tailwind, beats Masai Russell.
Yeah.
Very impressive. Aaliyah Armstrong of LSU. That women's 100 hurdles with Nugent. Akira Nugent, Aaliyah Armstrong, and Masai Russell. It's going to be very fun to watch. Those top three women, I mean, they all raced against each other at SECs, but seeing it at NCAAs is going to be another level.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, I have two more things. One more thing. Parker Valby ran well.
Debut, right?
No, she ran earlier, but she won over Mercy Chilinga. Chilinga made a killer kick to try to catch her, but Parker Valby made big enough move. We'll talk more about Valby and her chances of going up against Tui. We thought we wanted to see that rematch at NCAA indoors. Valby got injured, so we never saw it. Now we get to see the cross-country rematch at outdoors, depending on what they run. So we'll talk about that next pod when we know what they're running. But the surprise of the weekend, Aiden Owens Delamere. Did I say his name right? Delamere? Delarmy.
Yep.
Thank you. Aiden Owens Delarmy. Not running the decathlon this year, which is weird. Maybe he'll do it.
Not competing.
Not competing in the decathlon this year.
More in the decathlon than just running.
Yes. This is jumping, throwing.
You got to do all. Hurdling.
There's a lot of it. They're doing 10 things. But he hasn't done the decathlon this year. Maybe he's waiting to do it post-NCAAs.
Yeah. Because
he can kind of pass through, focus on worlds. Don't need to do a bunch of decathlons. So he's doing the 400 hurdles. He runs 48.26, wins SECs, runs the NCAA top mark. What the hell? The guy's a decathlete, and now he's running 48.26 in the 400 hurdles.
I mean, reminds me of Eaton, right?
Yeah.
But
Anna Hall.
Eaton didn't do that in college. Yeah, Anna Hall did that in college, but Eaton waited till afterwards. It fits the skill set for some of these multi-eventers that they'd be good at it because they have the technique for the hurdles.
Yeah.
And they probably hear all the discussion about what's the hardest event in track, and a lot of people bring up 4 hurdles, and they're like, well, that may be really hard, but that's only one thing. It's not 10 things. I don't have to change my shoes every 45 minutes if I'm doing that event. So it makes sense, and I think it's an interesting approach. I mean, maybe long-term for his career, it's a good opportunity because he can do that, or, and he can go back to the decathlon. And those decathlons do take a lot out of your body as well. I mean, I would want to see him in a decathlon because I want to see him go against Garland, obviously, after what we saw indoors. But it's pretty cool to be able to jump into another event and be in the mix.
But it makes sense that he's doing this. I got to give his coaches a lot of credit because if he is still focusing on the decathlon, he would have had to done decathlon to qualify, and then a decathlon at NCAAs, and then a decathlon at Worlds.
Yeah.
And also go 2 heptathlons, right? Or
Yeah.
maybe even 3 if he does SECs. So he could do 3 indoors and then 3 outdoors. It just becomes a lot of multi-eventing.
Yeah.
And whereas the people who are normally winning gold, silver, bronze at the world level aren't doing the decathlon, they're not doing 60 events. They're doing like 20.
Yeah.
They're doing it twice or 2 to 3 times max. So I think they probably recognize, hey, he doesn't need to get a decathlon qualifier because he competes for Puerto Rico, so he can just get the pass right to Worlds. Focus on other events, and he can still contribute to Arkansas's team chances because he can still get 10 points, but this time in the 400 hurdles as opposed to in the decathlon. You could argue he had a better shot of winning the 400 hurdles than he has of beating Kyle Garland. So even though he was getting 10 or 8 points, just difference of 2. But,
Yeah.
pretty kind of it's very smart to preserve him for a long season, but also you're not just preserving him and sacrificing team chances because you're using him in the 400 hurdles where you can get 10 points and then compete on the 4x4.
Gotcha.
So
No, it was an interesting plot twist.
yeah, did not see it coming.
I mean, I'm sure they knew about it for a while,
Yes.
but it's not something that they were publicizing and talking
Yeah.
about.
Kyle
Alright.
Garland's probably like,
Hey.
all right. He's like the meme of Will Smith in Freshman's Bel-Air. Like,
Empty house.
Where's everyone?
Yeah.
So, Big 12.
Yeah, we do Big 12 and Pac-12.
So, Julian Alford has gotten so good that now when she does incredible things, it becomes like the F block of our podcast because it's become so normal.
Mm-hmm.
Her team broke the collegiate record again in the 4x1, 41.89, and she also runs a win legal 10.84. She wins both the 1 and the 2. She's on the 4x1. 4x1 breaks the collegiate record again. Man, Alfred, we were talking about Sha'Carri at the top of the pod about how she's going from outside the top 10 to inside the top 5 to now potentially being the favorite with Shelly Ann not being 100%. Julian Alfred, you could argue, is equally doing a season that is gold medal worthy when it comes to Budapest. Her biggest challenge is she may be using it all up in her indoor and outdoor seasons for NCAA.
Yeah.
But 1084 win legal. It seems like that's a jog. She's gonna run. I think 1069 at NCAA's. I think I told you that because when she's on Texas track, we'll talk about this. The Texas women, they are really good. I did some updating rankings.
Really?
They may double the amount of points that second place has. They may get 100. They may score 100 points because Alfred's running incredible, and then this woman, Akila Smith, she jumps 708 meters. Mm-hmm. Over 7 meters in a long jump is good.
Yeah.
She could beat Jasmine Moore in the long jump.
Yeah.
Which is insane. Beating Jasmine Moore, who hasn't lost since I was 12.
Yeah.
She just wins every time. But seeing what Alfred is doing and now seeing what this up and coming long jumper in Akila Smith, who jumps over 7 meters, Texas has got something cooking.
Yeah. I think, the expectations are high, rightly, for Alfred. We were thinking, okay, maybe she gets the collegiate record this weekend, but probably a good sign in a way that she didn't do it this weekend.
Yeah, save it.
Because if you're waiting for Budapest, that's a long way away. And if you're not running national trials, you're going to go from the second week in June all the way into August where, you could do some overseas meets.
Yeah.
But you're still not in the main part of your competition. The season that you scripted in the beginning of the year, probably there's not definites. You're not able to pencil in this meet or that meet the same way you are able to pencil in, we're going to have the Big 12 championships. We're going to have the Texas relays. Like those things were known commodities. There's a little bit more up in the air post NCAA season. So, if she's keeping her powder dry, that's probably a good sign. I still think, and we'll see what she does at prelims. People have run fast at prelims in the past, so maybe she drops a good one in great conditions. But I'm with you. I think she'll go under 1075 at nationals.
I think she'll go into 1070.
It'd be great. That'd be
1069
awesome.
is what I'm predicting. And then last but not least, well, there's other great meets. Obviously, all conferences are doing well. But Pac-12, a couple notable things I thought was, help me out.
Makai Williams.
No.
Oh, Ododi on Wazarike?
Ododi
On Wazarike.
On Wazarike.
Yeah.
Even though he loses to Williams in the 100, runs 1991 win legal in the 200.
Yeah.
He's coming on strong, sophomore out of Stanford. The men's 1 and 2 kind of wide open. Terrence Jones lost to his teammate Courtney Lindsay in the 1 and 2. You see Williams coming back off of injury, but you see like Sean Masaganwe run sub 10 and sub 20 at his conference meet. There's a little bit of everybody in this men's 100 and 200 where there's no clear dominant force. We thought it was going to be Terrence Jones, but we see what Williams does. We see what Ododi does. Ododi
Yeah.
does. Masaganwe, Courtney Lindsay,
Yeah.
SECs.
No, it is
Bowling got like 5th at SECs in the 200. Is like Bowling's a 200-meter indoor champion, and he's nowhere to be found outdoors. It is completely wide. Like, dare I say it? I don't think anyone will be able to correctly predict the top 3 in the men's 1 and 2. If you could correctly pick 1, 2, 3 in the 100 and 1, 2, 3 in the 200, you win.
Well, Williams coming back adds just a wrinkle because you know how good he can be, and he went and he beat on Wazarike, real close race, but he beat him. Like that's a quality win, and then Wazarike goes on and runs 19.9, so you know he's legit. Yeah, I'm with you, man. It's hard to forecast it. I mean, it brings you back to indoors in the 60, and that end up being the Terrence Jones show.
Yeah,
but in the lead up to that, it was Williams. So yeah, I don't know. It's still wide open, man.
Yeah, in favor Ashe. He came back off of injury, and he won his prelim, but then got second in the SEC final to the LSU kid, Godson. Oh, man. My dyslexia is like killing me. Help me out. How do you say his name?
Godson Ohen and Brume, I think.
Ohen and Brume.
Apologies if we got that
Good
wrong.
work. That's impressive. He won SECs. Favor comes back from injury, gets second. So there's just a little bit of a reason for everybody in the men's 1 and 2. And you see that kind of showing where people were getting upset at Big 12s, at Pac-12s, at SECs. You see Houston do their thing with Masanganwe. I mean, seeing Masanganwe run sub 20, I was like, wait, I've never seen him run 1999. That's like insane. So I was just like, whoa, it is a little bit of everybody everywhere.
Yeah. Well, and you also don't want to overreact to conference. We've done that in the past too. And
yeah, I mean, Favor of Philly beats Steiner 3 times, and then Steiner comes back and does it the other way. Yeah.
I mean, it's tough to figure out, like, because some conferences, I shouldn't say some, most of the time, they're going all in on those conference meets. Coaches are getting every possible point they can, but sometimes, the athlete's just not quite there yet. They're one workout away, or one tiny minor thing goes wrong, and if you're in a very competitive conference, that's the margin of victory. And then a couple weeks later at NCAA, they're able to flip it around, and the person who got 5th got 1st or whatever. So it happens all the time. Okay, the pronunciation Ogenabrume. Ogenabrume? Or Gen is in Genghis. Ogenabruma. There you go. Ogenabruma?
Ogenabruma.
Okay, I think we did that right.
Thank you. We have to remember his name.
Jordan, thank you for the pronunciation.
He's going to be...
A is in the letter, not the pronunciation.
Big for LSU.
Ogenabrume.
I did a little bit of NCAA rankings. Now, we don't know exactly who's scratching and not, so I'm not going to officially post them until later on this week when we find out who actually is running. But right now, Texas, I have projected to score 95 points. Florida, 50 on the women's side. Oregon women, 38. I have Oregon women 3rd. We haven't been talking about Oregon men or women much.
Field, right?
It's all in the field, all in the throws. And then I have LSU, Nebraska, and A&M tied for 4th with 32 points for the women's side. Men's side, Arkansas 58, Georgia 44, Florida 40, Texas Tech 39, Tennessee 37. So Arkansas looking to defend their indoor title on the men's side, Florida coming in there, and Georgia. And then Texas women are finally, I think, there's no way they lose. If they lose, it would be the most
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
He almost got there.
Yeah. If they lose, it'll be very embarrassing. Almost like the past 10 years, what were we even thinking? You may need to rethink the whole situation if Texas were to lose. But Texas, 95 points. Florida, 50. That's my current rankings. Unless, people can get hurt. If Julian Alford, scratches, changes the whole outfit.
Yeah, we hope we don't.
But
Yeah,
assuming everyone runs what they have, Texas, clear number 1, Florida, number 2.
David says, what about Arkansas women?
Arkansas women, they're nowhere to be found, man. I have them 8th with 30 points. Lauren Gregory's out. She was a big for scoring. They don't have the sprint power. I mean, Britton Wilson can really only contribute 10 points.
Well, then the 4x4, right?
the 4x4.
So they can get 20 there, and that's...
Yeah, but that's only... But Julian Alford can contribute 30.
Right.
Technically 38 because you put it on the 4x4 and they get second. So it's 38 points to 20. So
yeah, it makes sense.
If Britton Wilson can do the double, maybe we start seeing something there. But Texas just has 2 to 4 women in the 1, 2, and 4. It's really hard.
It is interesting, right? If you're looking at the schedule and you're planning out your team, if you have it's rare to have the 400 hurdle doubler, but you can't take advantage of that at the NCAA meet, whereas you can take advantage of the 1, 2, and you can take advantage, obviously, the 5, 10, high hurdles, low hurdles. Yeah. But it sort of makes that impossible. It makes it a little bit inefficient.
Yeah, I think the big surprise is Texas is going to dominate. Oregon women.
Oh, what about Nugent, though?
Yeah, well, okay. Should I tell you what I have them scoring?
Because Jordan says, winning the sprint hurdles and making the final in the 100.
I'll do this. I'll tell you exactly where I have them ranked. Doing the ranking shift. This is inside baseball.
I'll say this about Gordon. You can criticize his takes all you want, and I do it as much as anybody, but he does have extensive spreadsheets, and he has thought about the athlete that you don't think he's thinking about. He probably just doesn't have them as high as you think they should.
Exactly. So Arkansas doesn't have a 1 or 2. Arkansas only really, I only have 1 Arkansas athlete scoring in the 400, even though they scored a bunch of indoors. But this is my current rankings for the women's 400. I have Texas, and then Jones of USC, Diggs of Florida, then 2 Texas A&M athletes, and then Rosie Fiong of Arkansas. So I only have them scoring 3 points in the 400. Arkansas have no points in the 8. 15, they have no points.
So high hurdles was the question. That's the way this whole thing started.
Sorry, I have her getting 3rd.
Okay. And you don't have her making the final in the 100. Okay.
No, yeah.
Gotcha.
I have it Armstrong, Russell, Nugent, which I think is fair, right?
Well, she could win, but you're saying even if she wins,
it's a difference of 4 points.
It's not good enough to get on the podium.
Yeah.
So. Pole vault. Now people are asking about the pole vault.
Pole vault. I have Fasold getting 6 points, so that's 3rd, and that's it.
There's been some upsets in Gordon's rankings throughout the years, but I don't think he's ever had anybody 8th who ends up winning it, correct?
The only time that happens is if the difference between 8th and 1st is a difference of 10 points.
Yeah.
Because then that makes sense.
Yeah.
But the difference between 8th and 1st is 70 points. It's not.
What about podium? What about podium?
Yeah, they could podium.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Right.
Yeah, 100%.
All right. Hey, I'm just trying to
1,000%
respond to what the people are saying. All right. Great job hosting. Thanks to Nico for producing. Continental Tour races, you check them out.
This weekend, Japan Continental Tour.
Oh, yeah. Yokohama. Fred Curley in the 100. Check that out.
That's going to be good.
Also some good mid-distance races as well.
Curley in the 100, though.
Zoe Hobbs in the 100. New Zealand
you
sprint
love Zoe
fans.
Hobbs. You keep on bringing up Zoe Hobbs.
Well, you made fun of me because I knew she broke the New Zealand record because I watched I had the sound on.
Are you sure you didn't think it was a 0 and not a 1?
That would be you. That would be you. Makes a mistake. All right, Gordon made it through the show.
Oh, one last person. We should give this person love. Raina Jones. She won the 100 and the 200.
Renia Jones.
Yeah. Is that who we're talking? Is that the person? No.
Oh, you're talking about the 200.
Renia Jones and Letitia Smith. So Renia Jones runs 1094. That's cool. But more importantly, Letitia Smith runs 2209, win legal.
Latasha Smith.
Latasha.
You're struggling today, man.
Latasha Smith. I apologize. USCF. What am I even doing? She won the 2 and the 4. She runs 51.2 in the 4. But more importantly, 2209, win legal. I mean, Shacarri runs 2207. The girl ran 0.02 seconds slower than what Shacarri just ran. And no one's talking about it. So I'm going to talk about
You
it.
just talked about it.
The reason why no one's talking about it is because Jillian Offer's going to win the 1 to 2, and it's kind of all you. But hey, Latasha Smith could potentially challenge her.
Latasha Smith.
I'm a big Latasha Smith and Mackenzie Long fan.
Okay.
I'm going hard. I want Mackenzie Long and Latasha Smith to both get second. So I want Alfred to win both, but Smith and Long, those are my two.
Okay. You heard it here. Guys,
Ole Miss Long, Latasha Smith, UCLA.
Gordon makes his second place picks for the women's 100 and 200 at NCAAs. All right. We'll see you guys next Monday on the pod. Thanks to Nico for producing.
Smith ran a 2:21.800.
Bye-bye.